Hello, today we're going to do something which Amberlynn Reid is incapable of, which is a little bit of complicated editing. We're going to go for a tier list of all of Amberlynn Reid's unhinged moments. Here you can see my beautiful tier list. So we've got from the top down, evil/jail. So these are things where it's like, you're a horrendous person and you should be in prison, or if perhaps it's not actually illegal, but it's something that is like evil, it's going to go in there. So these are your terrible actions. We have got bloody awful but no jail time. I think that's quite self-explanatory. We've got pretty bad, could be worse, weird flex but okay, and straight up boring. Let's go. So we're going to start with Freeloader Lyyn. Now, Freeloader Lyyn is what Amberlynn used to be called back in the Crystal era when she didn't have a job and she wouldn't work. She made a post on some forum somewhere where she said that Crystal's parents used to give her $1,400 a month on average, apparently, which is a lot of money to be giving somebody who's not your child. And even though they did that for Amber, she still made horrible, rude comments about them all over Facebook. At the time, people were hounding her and asking her why she hadn't got a job yet. And she says that it's because she couldn't drive, there were no buses where she lived, and she had a slow, rubbish laptop.
I really, really, truly want a job, but I cannot get one because I do not have a car, I do not have a license, and I do not have transportation. And unfortunately, where I live, they do not have buses. Work at home jobs I would not be able to do because the internet on my laptop is horrific and my laptop is very slow. Jobs wouldn't approve me anyways for that.
Later on in a video, she says that she didn't work for 4 years during this period and that she felt really guilty about it.
I felt so guilty about my life in Virginia. I lived with my ex-girlfriend for almost 4 years without a job, and I lived off of her parents, and I got a lot of beef because of that online.
I think this is pretty bad. To be kind of 23, 24, 25, never having had a job, be freeloading off somebody else's parents, it's definitely something that I think is, it's not cool, it's embarrassing. So we'll go ahead and put Freeloader Lyyn into the pretty bad section. I feel like that's an acceptable place for that to go. Next, another relatively gentle one, we have taking responsibility for other people's success. Now, this is something that Amberlynn absolutely loves to do. She claims that because of her, everybody has careers and gets paid, and she's kind of the reason that they are able to pay their bills. She almost thinks of reaction channels as being on her payroll, which is kind of tragic. She claims in a screenshot that Zachary Michael only has a channel because of her. There's also this cringe clip here, which I think needs no introduction.
Hello? Yes, this is the Queen of Girl World. Yes, a lot of people have an income because of me. Yes, that is me. Hello.
She's talked shit about various reaction channels, but she's definitely done it a lot about Zachary Michael. She makes out that Zach only has anything to say or anything to make videos on because of her, which is just not true. Zach makes videos on other people. And the thing is, even though she is sometimes the center of the content, I still don't think of it as her giving people a career or really giving people anything. It takes a lot of effort and skill to film videos and edit them and make them entertaining and to maintain an audience who actually care and want to watch your content. And I think because Amberlynn Reid's content is so easy to make, she just thinks that that's the case for everyone. And even though, yeah, we are talking about her, the actual content itself takes effort and skill, which she does not put into her own work, if we're completely honest. Still, because she's kind of got a little bit of a point in the sense that we do talk about her, and without her we would have to find a different subject matter, I'm going to go ahead and put that into could be worse, because I don't think that's like anywhere, well, by no means the worst thing that she's done, which we're going to see. The next one of my absolute favourites, using her alleged BPD as an excuse. Now, BPD is not an excuse for being a horrible person, and no mental health issues are. No one is out here claiming that because you've got any kind of mental health issue, it means that you have an excuse or a right to be a total dick. Amber actually addresses this in a live stream. I'll play a clip of that here.
You use BPD as an excuse. I have it. You give us. I don't know what the rest of that is, but thanks for super chat. See, the thing with borderline personality disorder, it is a personality disorder. Like, your personality is like a lot of what you are and who you are on an everyday basis, because it's a personality disorder. So, it's hard for me to ever give a reason for something, when BPD is the fuel to the way I react to some things or whatever it may be. Like, it's hard for me to be like, that's not the reason when it is.
In an Instagram Q&A, somebody says to her, BPD is a valid excuse for certain situations. As a mental health professional, you're valid. And Amber says, thank you. Even when I'm valid, I'm learning to take accountability. I'll just say, as politely as possible, you clearly have a fair bit more learning to do. She's not wrong that BPD does make it difficult to regulate your emotions, but the problem with Amber is she doesn't seem to understand that just because you feel something doesn't mean that you have to act on it. She kind of seems to think that because she has a thought or a feeling, that it immediately is just allowed to transmit into an action. She seems to forget that there's this middle part between that process where you get to actually listen to what you think and then stop yourself from doing something stupid or doing something wrong or horrible or nasty. Amber doesn't seem to take responsibility for the kind of like emotion action gap, which is filled by you and your choices. She seems to think, well, I have BPD and that means I can act like a total idiot, when actually it's just you have BPD, so you have various symptoms, but those symptoms don't necessarily have to inform your behaviour. So I think using BPD as a crutch or using BPD as an excuse, I would say that that's pretty bad. Now we're getting into some slightly more juicy stuff. Number 3 is just the word Rarity. Now, of course, you'll know if you've been anywhere in Girl World that Rarity was Amber's cat. Unfortunately, she disappeared. Amber was chilling at home and left the door open when she let the dogs out, and Rarity got out. We actually learned recently in Destiny and Beck's video that this is not the first time this has happened. Destiny and Beck share a screenshot where Amber explains that she's trying to take the trash out and that Rarity gets out. So I'll read that to you now. Amber says, I was trying to do the trash and Rarity got out. She was outside for like 20 minutes in the pitch dark. I ended up getting her, but it's impossible to do the trash by yourself, so I didn't get it done. If it was just one bag, I could have done it, but it's like 12 and I'm super overwhelmed. I'm obsessed with Destiny just replying, okay. That is kind of scandalous though, so that just shows us that Amberlynn has actually let Rarity out by accident more than once, which is really worrying, because if you think of Amberlynn outside in the dark, if something small and agile is running away from her, there's no way she's going to be able to catch it. So the fact that her cat was out there and she wasn't physically able to kind of like go about the place and grab the cat, I mean, I know she could, but especially now it would be much harder. It's quite a concerning mental image, the fact that she lets animals out so easily and she doesn't have the ability to look for them unless she's relying on it to be done by her feeder girlfriend. There's also this clip here which has always bugged me from when Rarity went missing, where Amber's explaining how it happened. She's standing at the door and talking about it. I'll show you the clip now.
I opened these, I like peeked around the corner and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then that's when I knew. That's when I knew.
I hate that line where she goes, that's when I knew. It just makes me think, what do you mean that's when you knew? So what, you realise that the back door's open and you immediately assume that your cat's missing? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say that's when I knew. You would shut the door immediately and then call the cat, or run around the house or wander around the house and find wherever, look in all the spaces where the cat usually is and be like, where's the cat? At which point, if you couldn't find it, then you would know that the cat was missing. You wouldn't just see the door open and then immediately know. I really don't think so, unless, you know, maybe Rarity's the kind of cat that just goes out of every door. But if that's the case, then shut the door more carefully. The screenshots we see from Destiny and Beck show us that Amber has let Rarity out before. So something you need to be careful of if you know you're prone towards doing it. On my last video, somebody called C Peach comments, wait, I just had a crazy thought. What if Amber let Rarity out on purpose so she could stay at Emily's longer while looking for the cat? I know it sounds unhinged, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? You're completely right. I'm not saying that this is the case, but you're completely right that this is the kind of unhinged thing that Amberlynn Reid would do in order to cling to love. If you watch my previous video, you'll know that Amber is absolutely obsessed with having people love her and need her, and she wants to be included and a part of something, particularly with a romantic relationship. And I truly wouldn't be surprised if letting her cat out on purpose was the kind of length she would go to if she felt she was losing Emily, who was the love of her life. I could just imagine the exact mental gymnastics that Amber would go through to justify something like that in her head. However, we don't know if that's happened, and I'm not saying that it has happened. All we know is that, in fact, Rarity did get let out. Whether it was on purpose or not, she got let out. I would say that with Amber's track record of not looking after her animals well, treating them badly, and having already let Rarity out once by accident, I'm going to go ahead and say that Amber letting Rarity out goes into the bloody awful but no prison time. Number 4 is Wipegate. So Wipegate is, I think it's one of those things that needs no introduction. Amber's ex revealed that they've been wiping Amber's bum for a long time because Amber struggled with mobility issues. This was before and after her hysterectomy, and people have pointed out that since we've been had Wipegate revealed to us, we've never seen Amberlynn show loo roll in a haul. She shows all kinds of other stuff like face wipes and dish soap and chocolate and pasta, but she's never shown loo roll as far as anyone can see. What she has done, however, is show herself buying lots and lots and lots of washcloths. We call them flannels in the UK, but so once again the facts line up with what seems to be the case, and of course Amber admitted it. But of course, when Amber admitted to this, she downplayed it. She said that it was only a few weeks, and then immediately after, in the same live stream, says that it was 9 months.
Beck started wiping me after my hysterectomy, and it continued on after that. Wiping for me has always been extremely hard as a bigger girl, obviously. If you were bigger, my size, it's hard. Me not being able to wipe for, it was like honestly a few weeks. Obviously after time, I was able to figure that out again, thankfully. But I would say Beck wiped me for I would say a good 9 months, honestly a few weeks.
The fact that Beck had to do this for Amber is definitely no fun for Beck whatsoever, but when Beck goes on to talk about the washcloths and how that was Amber's other way of doing it, Beck says that washing the flannels for Amber in the sink was the lesser of two evils.
After Amber's cancer scare and hysterectomy, I was the one who took care of her while she was healing. And yes, I was the one who wiped her, but I wiped her plenty before that. I believe from sometime in 2019 to June 2021 when we broke up. Before I started wiping her, she would use washcloths to wipe. She would set them on the corner of the sink, and then she would turn herself around to wipe herself on it. And then she would throw them away. Our roommates started to notice that their late mother's washcloths were disappearing. And they confronted her about it, and she wanted me to lie to them for her, but I didn't. She ended up buying more washcloths for herself, and instead of throwing them away, she had me wash them in the sink and then put them in the washer. Wiping ended up being the lesser of two evils at the time.
And you know, I'm not here to necessarily shame anybody's physical inability. It's more the fact that she lied about it. She downplayed how much Beck helped her. She put Beck on blast, even when Beck had done so much for Amber. So I think the whole Wipegate thing, it's unhinged in various ways. It's not necessarily unhinged that she had to be wiped, but it's unhinged the whole way that she treated the person that did that for her. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and put Wipegate into the bloody awful but no prison time section. Next we have number 5, the married woman. Now this is the case actually multiple times in Amber's history, but I'm talking specifically here about Erica. Erica / Valentine is somebody who Amberlynn Reid dated for a period, and when Amber found out that Erica was married, Amber did not stop the affair. She continued to message this person and try and seek a relationship with them. She not only took part in an affair, but when she found out that she was doing that, she did not stop. So that's pretty awful. I would say, let's think about it. Is it bloody awful but no prison time? I'm going to go ahead and put the extramarital affair into pretty bad. I don't think it's quite as bad as some of the other stuff she's done, so I'm comfortable going pretty bad on that one. Okay, we're bringing out the big guns now, so this is the next one, number 6, Casey accusations of R-word. If you want clear, specific proof of this occurring, you can go watch this video from Mr. Snowflake. It's called Amberlynn Reid, You Want Proof? You Can't Handle the Proof. Amberlynn released a horrendous video where she directly accused Casey of R-word. She named Casey, she made specific allegations of exactly what she claimed Casey did.
So not only was I being physically abused, but I was pretty much being like, that is what I consider it, because I continuously would say no to her.
Casey then came out and denied these claims, in fact arguing it was actually Amber who was physically abusive towards Casey.
I don't know where this story came from. I didn't do it at all. The places she said about being hit, those were on me. Those were the exact places she hit me. I was the one being abused. And I will say this, I may have laid a hand on her a few times. That was in self-defense. I didn't do it, and I damn well did not rape her. I did not rape her. Period.
Amber's story was directly contradictory to Casey's story, and because Amber has absolutely multiple reasons to lie, and Casey has no reasons to lie, and generally comes off as significantly more credible, I believe Casey in this situation, and I think that Amber has lied about being R-worded. I mean, I'm out of words for how bad that is. It's probably up there with one of, if not the worst thing Amberlynn's ever done, so we're going to go ahead and put accusing Casey of R-word into evil/jail, because it is not a acceptable thing to do in any iteration of this life. The next one, also including Casey, is Casey nudes. So when Casey was under 18, she attempted to coerce Casey into sending nudes. He did not want to, and he specifies this in his interview with Mr. Snowflake.
She wanted a spicy picture. She was asking me about this for a couple weeks. And I was like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. And I was 15. Again, I was 15, 17. And I just kept telling her, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with that. You know, why do you want this? Like, I'm not comfortable. And she didn't want like front. She wanted, you know, and like that's what she wanted. She wanted the below the belt. And I was like, oh, well, no, I'm not comfortable. And I just kept saying, I'm not comfortable with it. But, you know, she said, you know, if you don't do that, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to break up with you.
We may have known this already, but it was confirmed to me just recently that Amberlynn keeps all of her old phones. And I am very, very curious if these pictures are on any of those phones, because if they are, that is literally illegal. And that would be, prison time for people who get caught doing that. So again, there's really not much we can say other than to go ahead and put that straight into evil/jail, because once again, you can't be asking people under 18 for naked photos. No. Next, we have lying about SA. How, when, who did it? Was it father's friends or was it her cousin? Amber has given multiple different accounts of who did it to her, when they did it, who she told, how she told them, what she said, when she told them. She's come online and admitted that she did lie about who did it.
Oh, me saying it was my dad's friend, 100,000%. I said that for a long time. Yes, I did. So for a long time when I was younger, like especially my teenage years, I did say it was someone that was not related to me. Yes, I did.
We are still kind of, she's never going to do it, but we are still waiting for Amberlynn to confirm like which one of the version of the stories is true. And she doesn't need to actually confirm it, because whether she confirms it or not, we still know that she has lied about it. So, again, one of the most like unhinged things to do, lying about something like that. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you, but lying about SA is so damaging. It makes it harder for people who actually have suffered to come out. In my opinion, it invalidates the experience of people who've actually been through it. So lying about SA is very, very awful. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into evil/jail. Next, we have revealing her mother's cancer. Now, I don't know if this has been like publicly noticed. I feel like surely it must have been, because that document that Amberlynn shares, I'll cover this in a second, but she shares this document here where she basically, well, it's not a document, it's a screen grab from a alleged medical health portal. If you look at this document, if you zoom in, you can see FH, which stands for family history. Underneath family history, you can see mother vulva cancer. She could have redacted that because it's not her own medical information. I don't know if it was already out there. Maybe it was, I'm not sure. But either way, she's made it public. It might be that it was already public. If it was, then somebody in the comments will let me know. Once again, in trying to defend herself, she has revealed private information about another person, which is not good. I'm going to go ahead and put that into pretty bad, because I'd say that's pretty bad. Telling however many thousands of people somebody else's private medical history is it's pretty bad. It's maybe it's more than pretty bad, but we're going to run out of space, I think, so we'll go ahead and leave it in pretty bad for now. Next, we have copying Casey's coming out story. So it's been kind of proven multiple times that what Amberlynn said was her coming out story was exactly what Casey had said was his coming out story. So it seems very likely that Amber had taken Casey's coming out story and adopted it into her own. I don't know for sure if that's the case. It could be that they just had like freakily similar coming out stories, and if that's what it is, then I don't know, okay. This is another thing that Amber does. She assimilates into the environment she's in. She takes mannerisms and stories and ideas and tones of voice from people that she's around, so it would not be that surprising to me if she in fact did steal Casey's coming out story. I'm not here to force anyone to share their coming out story, and I don't know if she's for sure lied about this, but I do think it's a bit odd. I'm going to go ahead and put that into could be worse. Next, we have Exes looked after her hair. This is another big one. So recently, Destiny and Beck, as I'm sure you know, have come out and explained that they used to have to take care of Amber's hair. It seems like Beck did it a lot and Destiny only did it once. Here they are talking about their experience of that.
But she wanted me to fix her hair from not being like that before we went and did anything. But when I finally did do that, it took me like 3 hours.
Wait, so dude, this entire time, whenever she said we were supposed to do my hair today before we did anything, she meant that you were supposed to pick her hair.
Yeah.
I thought this entire time you were supposed to take her to get her hair done.
No, I couldn't get her to, she wouldn't have gone with it like that. But for a long time, I told her she needed to go and get it like trimmed, because like a couple weeks before we broke up, she tried to trim it herself and she just like like I said, it was like past her butt. She threw it over her head and then tried to just like cut straight across like the ends. And it ended up
do that.
like this. Like it was in like a V because it wasn't even. She had so many dead ends. And I was like, now it looks like crap. And now you have to cut off even more. So then I had to cut it straight across. And it was straight across. But then she kept putting it up in that bun, like I said, and it turned into that mess.
No, I get it, because she would do that and leave it like that, and then it would get matted, and I would have to sit there for hours and pick out that rat's nest, and it would be so greasy, and it would take so long, and it would hurt her. Like, she would cry and stuff because it would be so painful. And it's like, please get your hair cut, then it'll be easier to manage. But she would not do it. She absolutely refused.
And like when I picked her hair, I used like an actual, like I went to Sally's and got stuff. I got like a pick, and I used like baby oil, I used conditioner, I used so much stuff.
What gets me about this one is that if you're struggling to take care of yourself and you've got mobility issues, the last thing you need to do is have super, super long hair. That's going to give you so much more work. My hair's grown so much in a year. My hair was always bleached and like snapping and was quite short. So now it's like healthy and long. It takes a lot of work, it does. And my hair's like, well, here, Amber's hair is much longer than that. And so I can imagine it would mat up and it would need brushing every day and it would take a lot of work. If you are needing a lot of care from somebody else because you can't really look after yourself, if that person requests that you cut your hair to make their job easier, in my opinion, you should either do it or take care of your hair yourself. I know that will be hard for Amber, but I still feel like the effort should have been put in for that. Although it's bad, I think there have been worse things than that. And also because her hair situation is, although it's her fault for not cutting her hair, it's not completely her fault. So I'm going to put that into could be worse, because I do feel like it could be worse. Number 12, doesn't walk her dog. Amberlynn Reid has a little, I think, chihuahua called Twinkie, which does not get walked. There's been multiple times where people have seen that Twinkie's claws are really long. You can tell when a dog is walked because when they walk on the concrete, their claws get rubbed down by the friction of the concrete. So they always say that your groomer knows if you walk your dog because you can tell by the claws. Amber does not have the physical mobility to take care of a dog. I know Twinkie's only small and won't need loads of walks, but she does still need exercise. And if you just watch this clip here, you can see that Amber is not able to walk very far for very long. There is no way that Twinkie is getting walked the amount that she should be. There's definitely no way that's happening. Animals are innocent, and if we take them into our care, they are our job to look after. So I'm going to put that into evil/jail, because to me, anyone who mistreats animals is that's not acceptable in any way. Number 13, we have Choosey. So Choosey is a game which Amberlynn Reid invented, where she'll have like a huge collection of lots of items, and she'll play this game Choosey to help her work out which one is her favourite, or I don't know, if there's loads of movies, like which one she wants to watch. Not only did she play this on her own, she used to make Beck play it. This is of course according to Beck. Beck says that Amber would suggest that they play Choosey and then basically enforce that upon Beck and make them play Choosey with her. Salty Crab has a very in-depth video about Choosey, so you can go and watch that if you like. There's a video from the Crystal era where Amber is showing all of the earrings that she owns. They're in like this big tray, and there are so many pairs of like, in my opinion, gaudy, disgusting, like cheap, horrible earrings.
This is all of my dangly earrings. I used to have so much more, but I got rid of them. These are my stud earrings, which I am overly obsessed with. I love stud earrings. That is my favorite jewelry.
And I can just imagine Amber forcing Crystal/her exes to play Choosey. I'm going to go ahead and put Choosey into straight up boring, even though I know that Amber used Choosey to potentially control her exes and force them to play it. That is really bad. But Choosey in itself, I think is just, I mean, it sounds the definition of straight up boring. Number 14, we have coming for Zachary Michael's mental health / taking the piss out of Zach's breaks. Zach made a video recently saying the internet has been a lot for them, and they've actually confirmed that they're currently on a break. They look really sad in this video, which kind of upset me. So I hope Zach's okay. We'll be here to support you when you come back. Just a point on that as well, people will say, well, why do you support Zach being sad and going on a break, but you don't support Amber? It's not true. I support anyone who's on the internet who wants to take a break. If you want to take a break, go for it. What frustrates me about Amber is that she claims she's taking a break and then she continues doing exactly the same stuff. The only difference is she's not posting normal videos, but she's still doing live streams and she's still on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, people have been asking her loads about Zachary Zachary Michael on there. Somebody said, not Zachary Michael going on an internet break when you're on a break. And she says, didn't I tell you, with this smug little laughing face? Somebody else says, Zachary Michael isn't on a break, they just had a migraine. And Amber puts, nah, he's on a break, hun. He always is when I don't post, which is not true, but this is exactly what Amberlynn Reid does. She did this in a previous video. In that video, she suggests that Zach only has something to talk about when it's about her, and she also takes the piss out of their mental health.
But it's just really weird to me that when I take weeks off, all of a sudden, Zachary Michael is going through mental health problems and he can't post and he doesn't know what to post and he doesn't feel motivated. Oh, but the minute Amberlynn Reid posts, there's his reaction. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Actually, yes, it does. He needs me.
I would argue that what she just did there was taking the piss out of their mental health. The way, the tone of voice, I don't know, I don't like how she talked about that. So I think her taking the piss out of Zachary Michael's break or mental health is not acceptable, and I'm going to go ahead and put that into pretty bad. Next, we have lying about breakups. Now, Amber lies about all kinds of stuff. If you want to hear specifically about the ways that she's lied about breakups, you can watch this video. There's also a whole ton of other videos on YouTube. Just search for them. I don't know why I'm telling you how to use YouTube. Amber recently revealed in a live stream that she straight up lied about when she broke up with her ex Emily. She made videos crying and claiming that they broke up months ago.
So I walked into the kitchen and I just instantly started bawling my eyes out. Like, these are the roses that she got me for my birthday. Things like that, like, God. It's like, why?
Only to tell us recently that they broke up 2 days ago.
How am I always in a relationship? I'm not in one anymore. As of a few fucking days ago.
Amber also did this about her ex Jade / wifey. She told everybody that they had broken up and then she reintroduced wifey under a different name, but really they hadn't broken up. So it's just, I don't know, it's strange. It's a lie. She lies all the time, as we know, but lying about that specifically, it's not that deep. It's weird, and I don't know, lying, she's lied about way worse stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put lying about breakups into could be worse. Next, we have lack of effort. Now, this is something that has always annoyed me about Amberlynn Reid. She makes the most, sorry, but boring, low effort, low quality videos. In her recent live streams, which people pay for, she can't even get a laptop that doesn't have sound feedback.
Respect is out the door. I have taken my accountability. I admitted where I'm wrong and now I'm done. I'm moving on with that. And now it's my turn to pop off. So my mic is popping, probably because I'm getting a little loud.
She's got problems with her Wi-Fi. She doesn't know how to orientate a camera. She showed no effort in improving her content, making things better. I would say humbly, if you look at my video quality, it's better now than it was years ago. And I think that's standard, right? People try, they improve, but Amber just doesn't do that. She just doesn't seem to care. Even though this is how she makes her money and pays her bills, she just continuously posts low quality, low effort content, and it's I think it's lazy. Let me look at my tier list again, bear with me. I would say it's boring. Yeah, the content itself is literally boring, and it's boring that she does this, and the content is boring. So let's go ahead and stick that into boring. Next, we have all of the PDF allegations. Now, there are lots of videos about this. If you want to watch my one, I'll put it here. It got age restricted, fuck my life. I won't go into detail here because I've already done that in that video, but if you've seen that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Amber behaved inappropriately with minors, not just one. Libby is the one that particularly comes to mind, and I think it goes without saying, like, I don't even know why I'm saying this sentence right now, that is a evil / jail tier thing to do. Next, we have revealing her mother's sexuality. Now, this is another one that I was a bit like, shall I even include this? But, you know, when I mentioned it in a previous video, people were kind of like on the fence about whether this was bad or not. It wasn't exactly clear whether Amber's mum was okay with it going on YouTube, but watch this clip here and you'll see what I'm talking about.
So we're going to Pride.
Yay. You excited?
Yeah, I'm not the only gay person in this room right now.
Amber. Oh, Amber. Oh, God. She's talking about us. Never mind.
No, we're all edited.
I mean, I'm gonna leave that for
I
you.
was with a woman for 5 years.
You can see there that Amber reveals her mum's sexuality, but then Amber also says, I'll edit that out. But then she doesn't. Although she says, I'll edit that out. Oh, actually, no, I won't, or something like that. So it's kind of an iffy one. It's not clear if she has just straight up like told everyone her mum's sexuality and we didn't already know. Sometimes there's some things in Amber's content where I've picked up a lot over time, but there's things I don't know. So it could be the case that Amber's mum was already out and proud, but I don't think that that was the case. I'm pretty sure that Amber's mum had not told anyone about her sexuality, at least online. So Amber doing that is, I mean, I don't know the exact context, so I'm going to go ahead and put it into Weird Flex, but okay. I mean, it ended up on YouTube. I know her mum watches her videos and the video is still there. So clearly her mum didn't have as much of a problem with it as I thought that she would. So we'll call that a weird flex for now. Next, we have Mr. Snowflake's germ-infested beard. Amber made a post about Mr. Snowflake where she says that he has a germ-infested beard. And this is kind of funny because Amber has multiple examples of how her personal hygiene is lacking. She has a video where she admits that she hasn't washed her hair in 2 months.
This whole video, I am going to be talking about other people, but I figured just to start it off, I want to tell you guys a secret of mine, and it is that I have not washed my hair in about 2 months.
She also admitted at one point that she didn't shower for like, I think she said 9 months, but actually it was more like a year. We know she's had all kinds of personal hygiene problems over the years.
Amberlynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's. She did not like the bathtub. She refused to even try to get in. I think she was having a hard time getting her leg over it. It was the thing because it is pretty high sides. And she just basically, whore bathed. She just, she washed her hair. I'd help her wash her hair over the shower, and she just kind of washed with washcloths and wore plenty of deodorant. That's what she did.
As for her hygiene, she really never brought up concern about it. She would douse herself in perfume sometimes to help any issues, but that's all. I won't go into detail about smells or anything too personal, but her hygiene did affect everyone around her, myself, and others' personal belongings, and she did not show concern for any of those things. I'm not going to go into detail about the smell, but it was brought up to me a lot by everyone around me, and I did have to talk to her about it. Her reaction was usually to blame her depression and how she struggled to clean by herself. Eventually, I stopped asking her to help herself because it wasn't going to happen. It did get a little better when we moved into the apartment with the large walk-in shower, but I did still stand in the bathroom and help until the day we broke up.
So her saying that Mr. Snowflake has a germ-infested beard is just, it's silly and embarrassing. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like evil or cruel or anything like that, but I think it's, I don't know, it could be worse. Let's put Mr. Snowflake's germ-infested beard into it could be worse, because I think it could be. Next, we have one of my favourites and something which helped me get into this girl world side of YouTube, and that is the fact that Amberlynn Reid dated a feeder. Amber's always been big, we know this, she's talked about it for years, we've watched her gain 200 pounds in a decade. It's very clear that she's got problems surrounding food, and she's also got problems surrounding relationships and being needed. I think it's fair to say she forms unhealthy attachments with people. So Amberlynn Reid dating a feeder, it's like the meme where the two hands shake hands. It's like Amberlynn Reid and feederism. Finally, she was able to date somebody who didn't judge her for her eating, who actually wanted to watch her gorge herself and get bigger and didn't put any pressure on her to lose weight, who probably didn't judge her. I've seen lots of feederism documentaries, and in those documentaries, the feeders enjoy not only the size of the person, they also enjoy all the stuff that comes along with that, like stretch marks and various cleaning requirements and smells and stuff like that. I know not all feeders are the same, but I've seen some that are into that. So it will be perfect for Amber and kind of like a match made in heaven for her to be with a feeder, and in fact that's what she did when she started dating Emily. She's free to date whoever she likes, but I think at her size, with her history and her medical situation, dating a feeder is it's bloody awful. So I'm going to pop that in the bloody awful section. Next, we have accusing Mr. Snowflake of SH. So if you want to know all about that, you can watch this video here where Mr. Snowflake talks about how Amberlynn Reid was talking about him in her members only live stream and said that because he mentions her body and makes jokes about when like her jumper goes up over her bum, Mr. Snowflake makes like a oh nice joke and makes out that it's for him, but he's just taking the mick. He's English. I think a lot of people have a sarcastic dry sense of humour. You don't have to be English to have that, but Mr. Snowflake has it down to the ground. And I think Amber she either knows he's joking and uses it anyway against him, which is actually quite a good example of the straw man fallacy.
Snowflake is obsessed with me, genuinely obsessed. It's weird behavior. Like, go hang out with your wife, go hang out with your other family, your friends. Like, you don't need to be waiting around talking about me 24/7. Like, you're totally fine, I promise. You keep giving him ammo. Sorry, he gave me ammo. He was being sexually suggestive while looking at my body. I mean,
if it isn't ridiculous enough that Amber made out that, I would try and assault her if we were in the same room. If you've seen the live, that's exactly what it came across as. As if that wasn't ridiculous enough, saying, he makes me feel unsafe, I wouldn't want to be left in a room alone with him. As if that wasn't mad enough. Like, in the very next sentence or whatever it was, she would be saying, "What are you, sexy? Eh?" And she didn't just say it once, she said it an awful lot. And in every way, he's sexy, he's attractive, he's hot, he's good looking. Like, said it that many times. I was like, what's happening?
I know Mr. Snowflake is joking. You probably know Mr. Snowflake is joking. But either way, Amber makes out that Mr. Snowflake is sexually harassing her, which is pretty unhinged considering that he's done nothing of the sort. He hasn't even been in the same room as her, so that's pretty bad. Let's have a quick look at the list. Where shall we put that? Accusing Mr. Snowflake of SH when he hasn't done it. I'm going to go bloody awful. I think accusing anyone of something they haven't done is bloody awful, so we'll pop that in there. I'm not putting it into the evil/jail section because we all know that Mr. Snowflake's never been in the same room as Amber, so there's no like power behind her accusations. So I'm not, there's no chance that somebody would believe it and then think badly of Mr. Snowflake. So we'll go ahead and leave that in the bloody awful but no prison time section. Next we have shows undies. Now Amberlynn Reid made a video where she did a torrid haul, and it's her right to do so. She shows us all of the underwear that she's bought.
So these are literally everything. Black mesh and baby blue mesh with freaking bows. Like, okay. Here we just have some nude and black bow mesh with polka dots. Last but not least, we just have a pink pair with those cute heart rhinestones on the side.
And like, cool, I guess. I mean, she's clearly just done it for a thumbnail. She clearly just wants to be as controversial as possible, but whatever, I guess we'll let her have that one. I would say that perfectly fits into the weird flex but okay category. I mean, showing people your underwear online, like, okay, I guess if you want to, you're not hurting anyone, but kind of strange. Finally, we have eats on camera. Now, Amberlynn Reid is a large woman and she eats on camera a lot. There's been speculation that she does this to appease feeders who are in her DMs and, in her subscribers, and I think that's probably true. There's no way that you're a massively overweight, famous woman on YouTube and you don't have feeders offering you money. It definitely happens. We've had a similar conversation in the past about Becky Jones. Should fat people be allowed to eat processed food online? And yeah, I think probably they should when they're engaging in like ED style behavior. That's when I think it gets a bit hairy and they probably should stop. But yeah, I would say that Amber eating on camera it's not a good thing for her to do, but it's not so much the fact that she's doing it on camera, it's the fact that she's doing it at all when there's been years and years of documented issues of health issues, self-esteem issues, mobility issues, abuse issues with her partners, which has come down partially to her size and the fact that she couldn't take care of herself. So the fact that she eats on camera and chooses her YouTube channel and making profit by clickbaiting all of this feederism type of content, that's definitely wrong. I'd say it's definitely unhinged. I think it could be worse. There are things Amber's done that are way worse than that, so I'll move that into could be worse. So there we go, that's the tier list complete. I'm just going to have a quick look at it and see if there's anything I need to move. You know what, I think me putting her taking the mick out of Zachary Michael's mental health in pretty bad is not good. I'm going to move that up a tier to bloody awful but no prison time, because taking the mick out of somebody's mental health and claiming that they're only having breaks because you're having them is actually more than pretty bad. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with where everything is sat right now. What I'm going to do now is open it up to you guys, so please let me know what other controversies, what other unhinged behaviour would you like to see me rank in this list. In a couple of videos time, I will use you guys' comments and your suggestions and things that you think Amber's done that are unhinged that I've missed in this video, and I'll do a part 2 to this. So I'll take your suggestions and I'll make a video of myself adding them to the tier list. So after a while we'll have like a nice complete, well, there isn't going to be enough cells in Excel to fit all of Amber's controversies, but by all means let me know your favourite ones. Are there any that I've missed? Are there any that you think I've horribly miscategorized? And if there are, where would you have put them? I think it will be cool to see the tier list increase over time and see what other controversies there are and what other unhinged things Amber's done. So we'll leave that there for now. Thank you guys very much for watching. I always say that at the end of my videos, but I really do mean it. You guys watching has been really exciting, and it's really cool to have a special interest like Girl World that I'm able to, like, I don't know, I would be watching and consuming Girl World content myself anyway, which I've been doing for years. I was already like one of the girls before I started making videos about Amber, so I think I'm going to carry on with it. There have been people who've said to me, please don't get stuck in this section of the internet, please make other things and broaden your horizons and stuff, and I think I will. I'm going to make different stuff depending on what I feel like making, but I do think that Girl World is for me. You know, these feel like my people. I'm able to add my 5 cents, and there's an audience there who care and who leave interesting comments, and it's just a creative outlet. I don't take it massively seriously. The content itself is serious, but we're all just people online having a hee-hee and a ha-ha and choosing to put this content up. I do acknowledge that Amberlynn seems to be suffering seriously with her mental health, and I'm sympathetic to anyone who suffers with mental health. I know that that will be really difficult, but the thing that I always land back on is that if Amber didn't want this, if Amber didn't want all of this stuff to be happening, people to make videos about her and all of that, she could just stop uploading and it would all stop, and all the reaction channels who talk about her would move on to different girls, you know. I just think it's really important to remember that while she spends all this time and content so invested, and I know lots of you guys are too, so thank you for being here with me. That's what I'm going to carry on doing. Thank you very much for all of your other things that I'm interested in and all of that.